Giggity, giggity, good morning, fam out there. We know that the only way for the market to really head higher here is to be irrational and just squeeze. And that's why I'm looking at the SPX 500, because if I was reading into this signal and saying, hey, this is going to be some kind of turnaround, which I still believe we're at risk for, if I wanted to raise that floor, I need the 4 hour to curl up into positive territory. And we will notice that volatility was able to break down to lower levels, is trying to cross back down on the daily scale. So today is going to be a very, very important day, because today will most likely decide, like, hey, are we able to squeeze even further? And I know that's such a crazy, crazy thing to say, but that's how it works on this in this bullish market. It's just, hey, if you see the sell signal and you want to try to call some kind of top, look for if that is violated, have that plan for if it goes wrong. And look at that, this volatility play starting to dip down a little bit further than we would like to see. We can see how the structure would even say we could break down over time. So maybe someone coming in the chat yesterday and saying, hey, point out OPEX, point out Vixpiration. Maybe we should be paying attention to that, because this is something that really shapes up to be, hey, that is on the table to extend this move. Even though we do see terrible looking things from the 2 hour. And one thing is to be clear here, even though volatility is breaking down very, very quickly, I want you to notice how the SPY is not breaking to the upside very quickly. The SPY is only up 0.35%, while volatility is down. Yesterday, 4.35%, or I'm sorry, yesterday they were actually down, I think it was like 5.62%, and now you're down 4.35%. So this will be a very, very wonky time, because you do have people a month out going calls, and volatility is breaking down like we're booming right now. But we're not necessarily seeing that boom just yet. So we still have to pay attention to the same things that we were paying attention to early on this week. Do we get a test of 624.59? Do we see this squeeze past these levels? Or are we going to see this set up a lower high at this point? We'll be watching that very thoroughly today. I think we can appreciate what's going on with JP Morgan. I think JP Morgan has been very, very nice. We talked about this as it hit that weekly expected move, just discussing the type of decisions that we like to discuss on this channel, which is if you have a shorter timeline to your expiration, well, a weekly expected move is where you can early on in the week take a bunch of profit, maybe leave one or two runners. But if you have a little bit extended out time, you could say leave a bunch of runners, right? Take some sort of profit and then look for the right shoulder that is likely to come. Left head, right shoulder, that is something we'll be paying attention to for JP Morgan, but it is getting quite the boom, but it has a ton of sellers to get through. So very interesting there for JP Morgan. Nice signals going on there. Something I would keep my eye on is the SPX 500 4-hour confirmation. That's just something I would keep my little eye on. NVIDIA is still not able to break down, but is it going to fade this, or are we just squeezing? Volatility, the way it is positioned as of right now, suggests that we are going to squeeze again. And I know it's crazy, and I know I'm going to have to be even more patient now, and I'm bummed, but also I have family in town, so you can't tell me that me being patient is not necessarily the worst thing in the world. As of right now, it looks like IWM could continue the move, but tried to roll, as in maybe see that break down, but we haven't seen that cross down on the MACD just yet. So that's something that we're watching for. A 2-hour pullback is likely here, and we have maybe seen a little bit of that 2-hour pulling back, but we would like to see something a little bit more drawn out before we head to the upside. The interesting thing is that volatility was able to break down. I think that that is very, very interesting. And the volatility is breaking down so fast that you would expect the SPY to kind of be gapping up more than this. Okay, so if you need daily expected moves, we still haven't tested that 624.59. We notified you in the video last night that the game has not necessarily fully changed back to, hey, we're squeezing. Hasn't fully changed there. But it's starting to give you that little bit of hint, right? It's starting to be like, okay, maybe we can squeeze. So I think paying attention to if we reject here and make a lower high is going to be a great thing. 624.59 to the upside, 616.21 to the downside. For the Qs, if you wanted levels for that, we actually got a confirmation like the 30-minute wanted to lose this 5, and we whip right back up. So the market's still remaining bullish. 557.02 to the upside, 547.66 to the downside. and we're paying attention. We're seeing if this is an ABC, we're seeing if there's one more trap left in us for a double top, or we're seeing if we can raise that floor with some kind of squeeze. Thank you guys for being here today. Thank you guys for liking and subscribing and joining us here on the Money Making Market Chat. I never really say my name that often, my channel name that often, but the point of this is to be able to trade like water. Trading like water is something that we suggest for a lot of people because it just means, hey, I'm going to react and I'm not ever going to say, hey, I'm 100% right. And I bet if you're thinking you were 100% right yesterday that this was going to crash into oblivion, now you're seeing it bounce back up. And that's why we notified you quickly in the video. I didn't have much time, family in town, but we notified you, hey, we have not tested that 624. We could still make some kind of divergence point. Been long for months. Well, that's just staying with your plan. Do you think it could hit 300? Earnings doesn't matter to me. Earnings really don't, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, it's going to go to this point by earnings. There's no one who can tell you that. It's a guess. If they get it right, they guessed. What is very likely here for JP Morgan is to go reach up to this level towards these sellers and then see if it rejects. Is this a 30-minute MACD that looks like it's really going to go positive right now? Or does it look like it would need to fool around for a bit? Does it look like it needs to make a divergence? Does it look like it would need to make a higher low before you're convinced, yeah, this is okay? That's how I treat it for now. I don't try to I'm not a get-rich-quick schemer like a lot of people out there who would just make videos about earnings to get clicks on their YouTube. I am not that guy. I am not someone who trades earnings because I think earnings is overall a 50-50 flip. There are ways to be right with it, but also you can just get completely burned on the options if the move doesn't happen. If you have a big implied move and then the earnings is a dud, and then these become worthless because the premium go down. So yeah, I'm not here to tell you what direction you can get rich quick. That's not the point of this channel. The point of this channel is to take into consideration what's happening in practice. And this is a great signal to practice on because you had great 2-hour divergences. You see that the daily chart is down there, down there, down there, crossing down as of today, but you're getting an inside buck. So you're looking for that good daily confirmation for the pullback. Where the pullback would go to, I don't know why I connected these levels, but I guess you could pay attention to this level. I think that you'll end up down towards at least 263.52. Yeah, I believe that's the center point. So yeah, if you want to play earnings, that's on you. I'm not here to try to say, oh, earnings is going to cause a 100-point move, even though there's high implied volatility and it's still going to be hard for you to make money. I usually just don't even look at it when it's on an earnings. I'll look at something else. VIX, though, is breaking down. Look at the 30-minute, just completely breaking down. So it looks like we at least did this. At least how volatility is positioning for right now, it seems that we have done the things as far as volatility goes to at least see this into potentially Friday. Okay, Friday. But we want to take that with a grain of salt just because the SPY's not seeing absolute insane squeezing right now. We'll have to see if that changes, right? If we start to raise that floor, make higher lows, or does this confirm and then we just keep breaking down? That's going to be a big deal here. What else we got going on here? I think oh yeah, let's go check on Tesla. If this is so good, Tesla actually is very interesting here. Not able to curl down, tapping off of that weekly expected move again. It looks like Tesla is saying it still wants to try to go here to try to test this center point or take all of this back. This would be a signal that normally this divergence down here does send you to potentially a 2-hour move to the upside. So maybe it's just to the center of the zone. Maybe it's a little bit higher, but this would be considered a signal that really shows hey, the 2-hour can go higher. It's such an, I don't know, my BS meter keeps going off this week. My BS meter goes off, especially today with this move. I still think that we have to pay attention to 624.59, 625, and see if we're able to really hold above there for a whole day. My BS meter is really flashing. My BS meter is saying, yeah, I think all of this might end up being bait. And when we look back at this type of moment, like today, we could look back at this in 1 to 2 weeks if we want to extend the floor even all throughout July. And if you just extend the floor, we're going to see something worse. That's how I see it. I think we're going to go through something a little bit rough. But that being said, it doesn't mean there's not money to be made. You are getting a curl up on the SPY, right? You are getting a curl up that can go to a daily expected move. You can still use all the skills you use. You're just like, hey, I have to go forward with caution. And we've been at that since this squeeze right here, right? Once we saw the divergence down in here and we saw that squeezing, ever since that happened, we've been going, okay, this is where we should have our risk goggles on. It doesn't mean we have to stop trading. I'm choosing to stop trading. I chose not to play this because I had a family in town. I have my wife that's still not feeling too well. We will find out if it's a boy or a girl this week, though. Woohoo! And then at the same time, now this week, I have my wife's family, and then I got sick last. So there's just too much piling on for me, but I'm still going to discuss markets with you and try to help you as much as possible, okay? Don't think that just because I'm not trading right now, because I have a lot of stuff going on, that I'm not necessarily trying to do my best to help you, okay? I am doing the absolute best that I can. This is my opinion as of right now. We are seeing volatility drop off, like everyone is forgetting about the risk out there. And we're also seeing that we haven't even seen some kind of squeeze to make a new high. So we'll be paying attention. And the thing that we can create here to cause some kind of 2 hour to turn down is a lower high off of 624.59 or a divergence. Okay, we'll look for divergence. If that divergence confirms, just like the SPX 500, the SPX 500 right now, if that confirms and then the 30-minute or 15-minute just turns up, you're still heading to the upside and you're probably going to continue to be irrational. The same thing is said over here on the SPX 500. You will see that we were looking at the 4-hour divergence. What happens? We go down to lower levels, we make a 2-hour higher low, and now if the 4 hour is able to cross up, you are very likely to make a new high. So it says this might not be the moment. I know that we might be potentially close, but I need to make sure that my timing is good if I'm doing some kind of option. If you're just sitting and you're someone who trades shares back and forth, it's not really a big deal. You're just like, okay, I can hop back in. Oh, it rolled over, hop back out. But as far as options go, you have to have pretty good timing, and this is where the timing is starting to say, if we don't fade this move today and we confirm on this 4 hour for the SPX 500, we are very likely to go to like 6,300 at the least. I want to keep you very aware of what's going on here. The game keeps changing back and forth. It's like, yes, we have a sell-off signal. Oh, we're doing something irrational. Oh, yes, we see a sell-off signal. Oh, we do something irrational. Now, that was very easy for us early on because we were like, this is such a strong base. It's most likely going to continue, and the gamma game has changed. But as of right now, you're doing something so irrational that it's like, well, this is getting way overextended really, really fast. Like now you're at the point where it's like, we have to go down and test at least 600 in my opinion. And that's me. I can be wrong, but I am still doing the absolute best possible looking at these markets. Maybe IWM and DIA were a little hint here, but if IWM is able to fade here, that might be a lower high. I still believe that IWM and DIA look pretty darn fantastic. What is SQQQ doing? Short QQQ is probably going down today because the QQQ is going up. Jason says, Jason, what's your level? What level are you thinking? How high do you think it could go? I just think it's being too irrational, so I wanted to sit back and relax with family in town. But I just think it's being irrational, and I didn't play this last leg. I'm with you, right? Here, I was with you. 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 Here, oh, I wasn't with you on this one just because I saw the signals and I said, I just don't want to be caught in some kind of random thing that happens over a weekend. But how high do you think we go? Most hated rally ever. I actually didn't hate it at all. Now I do. No. Before Pal at 2. Pal? Hold on. Oh, wait, today's our July 9th. Oh, today's our topping day. I forgot about that. That's my bad. I thought it was July 10th. I thought we went past that time. Shoot. No, it's July 9th, so we're right at the date where we need to be watching. Right, we've been shouting out July 9th for a long time. For some reason, I thought it was July 10th. How Can I be so silly? Let me go use the restroom real quick and grab water, and I'll be right back. And then we'll get into some stuff. I promise you. And I forgot to go to the restroom. I just grabbed a water. We're okay though. We're okay. We're not struggling too hard over here. You know what I'm saying? No, it's at 2 today. Did Trump taco again? Exactly. Well, I think someone said that July 9th doesn't matter anymore because of he extended. Let me look it up. I think he extended it sometime in August. So we did technically do something that could raise the floor to July 9 or to July 31st. What the heck was that? It was where the heck is it? Okay, it's tariffs. As per letters sent to various countries yesterday, in addition to letters that will be sent today, tomorrow, and for the next short period of time, tariffs will start being paid on August 1st, 2025. There has been no change to this date. What? And there will be no change. In other words, all money will be due and payable starting August 1st, 2025. No extensions will be granted. Didn't we just give... Isn't this an extension? Hey, Chris, that's your birthday? It's my birthday month, too. Oh, you guys are literally saying August 1st all throughout my chat. I'm sorry about that. You think we're going to 700? Like, he tacoed to August 81st. Yeah, just August 81st. No, just... Bro, like, what is going on? Like, we're just, like, no offense to the guy. Actually, kind of offense to the guy. Why are we flip-flopping so hard? Like, I understand doing it a little bit for negotiation tactic, like opening up, oh, we do have talks, so we need to open it up a little bit more. But now it's just getting ridiculous. Now it's just like, if I was a guy who was trying to, like, do things solely based on news, I'd be, like, pissed. I'd be pissed. By mid-September? If you go by mid-September, then are you suggesting that either the rate cut doesn't come or that I'm just picking your brain. I like what you're saying, Jason. I think it's good to hear other people's opinions. I think that's great. That's kind of what this community's for. But mid-September, let me look at the rate cut odds as well. Let's see if those rate cut odds went down or up. We have 65.8. Yeah, it went up again. So 65.8% chance of a rate cut in September. That would be September 17th. You think we go all the way up? 120 calls for SPY 700, 919. Yo, good luck to you, Jason. I'm sure they're cooking right now, aren't they? They're looking pretty good, right? Rate cut, deregulation and tax cuts, and embarrassed sentiment, and the fact that fund managers are still on the wrong side. They are. Some fund managers are on the wrong side. You are correct about that. What's the bearish sentiment that you are overall seeing? Hopefully 7,000. See, Frederick, I'm kind of down for 7,000 end of year. So I think the only place I'm like, we can nitpick each other and be like, okay, back and forth. But I'm like, I don't I'll see it, right? I'll see it. September, like we'll see it if it happens, right? We'll get curl ups. We'll curl up right here. I still think you have to be heavily aware of a top. I would say potentially like this going into now someone mentioning Vixpiration and things like that. But today's our day. I'm still going to pay attention to July 9th because that's the day I kept shouting out. So I'm going to pay attention to it. Means market is bullish, yes. And that's why I'm suggesting like how markets like to move is why I'm having a hard time believing it. And this is different. Actually, I'll give you guys these levels today. Let's do it in case you do something crazy. And Jason and Frederick, maybe it's a little faster than yours, Frederick. Maybe it's a little faster and Jason says it's going to be September that you hit 600. Well, let's get you guys the updated monthly expected 95% line for this month. I think that would be a cool thing to do today. It is a scary, scary level because it is 666.6. Can you guess the last number? Guess the last number. Guess the last number. What's the last number? Come on. Someone's got to guess it. What's the last number right here? There's one more number here. Nah, can't get right. No, guys. Come on, guys. It's 5. How'd you not know that? No. It's 666.65. So this is the level that would say 95% line. So as far as July goes, if we're able to get there, then yes, I would say 700 in September is very possible. But looking at this move, I guess it reminds you of like a COVID bottom. But you see how the COVID bottom, when we made the new high, we went through at least some chop. I would at least like to see this chop, is what I'm saying. So I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. I just think you're going to see a moment where people start to shout crash again. Let's give you guys the lower level. 569.05. Right there. That's actually a really good level too. So either way we do things here, right? We extend, pull back, extend. That would be nice. Maybe that's your pullback into August, September, and then you see September, we start to round that out. But Jason's really saying, hey, we're just gonna, like we're just gonna go. We'll see if that takes place. I don't think that's my assessment as of right now. I still have to watch today very clearly, right? My trades aren't on a 3-month basis, a 4-month basis. My trades are on a 2-week to 2-month basis. So I will be looking carefully if the move to 700 in September makes sense. I will try to be a part of that if I see signals for it. What the heck is going? My keyboard, what is going on? Keyboard kept shutting off. What is going on? Okay, there we go. I think. We have gone to the daily expected move in the first 17 minutes of the trading session. This is still in positive territory down here on your MACD. We are still continuing to head to the upside as of right now. We will see if we can tag this line. Let's go check on the Qs. Tag those lines, and now we can see if we're able to pull down. But volatility no longer has those signals, so we might need to raise it for a bit and see what happens. And even the 2-hour is starting to violate things, correct? So we might want to raise that for a bit, right? See some volatility for a second just to get a pullback. That doesn't have to be some kind of major big drop. It can literally be like sideways at this point. That's how bullish this is still remaining at this point. Man, it was my plan to be patient for like a week, and it's turning into 2 weeks, and now it might turn into 3, and then I'm going to miss out, and I'm going to be very sad if it keeps going up. I'm not going to lie. I hope that you guys are doing well with your management of the trade. If you were trying to do something here, I hope you are doing well if you are trying to do some kind of move to the upside. But I'm still paying attention to if we roll, say even today or going into Friday. Because I just don't see that bearish sentiment. I know you pointed out bearish sentiment. I don't see it. I really don't. I know that the fear and greed can get worse. We are now in extreme greed. Volatility is really low, so people aren't really even hedging that much now. And the PCC is still at lower levels, refusing to go to the put side because we haven't seen something really bad yet. So I don't see the bearishness personally. I think people want to get bearish fast, so you could see some stair stepper move down, right? Some bounces, some dead cat bounces to really screw people over. But that's where we use our weekly expected moves for some help. As of right now, our plan for the week was we are going to turn down, we're going to come up, we are going to turn down again. We'll see if that's able to take place. I do not want to do that. Where's the... okay, cool. We do have data today. We have FOMC minutes today. So the FOMC minutes, I'm wondering if people are banking on them saying rate cut because the percentages are higher. Also, I'm wondering about this like Jerome Powell Trump feud that, I want to fire him. Oh, I never said that. Okay. Don't put words in my mouth. Okay. I never said that. A month later, I want to fire him. Hey, that's all right, Polar Bear Man. Thanks for shouting it out, buddy. Rate cut. Supposedly half decent news. What news is it supposed to be? Let's see what it's supposed to be. Well, now you're seeing that right now can't get right. You're seeing volatility ruin some of the most like critical signals here. And the one signal we are holding is the daily one, just barely. But if you squeeze for a couple more days here, you're getting rid of that, and then you're gonna have to make whole new like 2-hour higher low. You're gonna have to make whole new 2-hour divergence. So you see how we could go up into August 1st just by like really breaking down here for volatility, and you have to see the break to the upside, I think, for the SPY. And is this the break to the upside now? That's what you would consider. We'll spend $7 million on the calls I offloaded yesterday. Maybe I'm the fool though. Hey, it happens. But you're making the best decision that you see fit for what you see in front of you, right? At least that's not necessarily something that lost anything or you're going to lose anything, right? Maybe it's just opportunity costs. He wanted to open an investigation into Powell. Well, what was the whole like? Was it like $1 billion building or something? Did anyone see anything about that? Can we go through all the stocks? Yeah, we can go through a lot of them. We can start at daily scales and why this is really looking like interesting. Amazon is still in the risky spot, not confirmed as of right now. If you wanted to take the early confirmation, you see the 2-hour able to curl up. Well, we overall pulled back sideways on the 2-hour. Are we going to violate divergence here and just go boom to 229? Right? That would be something you would consider. As of right now, the 30-minute is curling up, right? It's trying to confirm. So this would say that bullishness overall can take place, right? We are still within range of going positive. And we want to see if we reject from these levels or make a new high. But Amazon is way up there. Amazon is saying, I have a bunch of divergence here. So Amazon is still not doing anything that has ruined the daily signals. So be aware of it. NVIDIA is seeing massive upside as of today. Did it ruin the 30-minute divergence to raise the floor? Yes, it did. So NVIDIA is trying to raise that floor. So NVIDIA would be backing the people in chat who are saying, say, 635, 650, 700. It is backing that as of right now. The 2-hour scale, you still have these points of divergence, but those are starting to go away. We were looking for a time where we actually get the divergence on the MACD and RSI, and now you potentially have it. Are you at a weekly expected move? That's my question for NVIDIA. I think I skipped a bunch of stocks here. I need to just go through each individual one. No, you could still head higher here for NVIDIA this week. I think today's a good time to pay attention for FOMC. I'm still inclined to just pay attention to why I'm being patient. And I think this market is very resilient, but I'm not willing to be a part of it now, right? I was a part of it enough. I had good trades. I can appreciate the good trades and say, hey, this is not something that I want to participate in right now, as I can't pay attention as much for my trades throughout the day as we have family starting to come in slowly. Apple, we are seeing if the 30-minute is able to make some kind of right shoulder here. We have lost the low. We are still in range of going positive. This is something that I'm paying attention to for Apple. But Apple, as of right now, if that 2-hour curls up, does it have the major like signal here on the 2-hour that says, hey, this is really, really bad? No, it doesn't. So Apple could continue. Tesla says 2-hour or 30-minute divergence, maybe even 2-hour divergence. So this would as well add up to that. But then you start to get into Amazon. That one needs to do more work. NVIDIA has done the work. AMD needs to do more work, right? AMD, a curl up into positive territory here for the 2-hour can mean we're going to test this high or go make a new one, but it also can fail because we are pretty extended to the downside here, right? We went all the way down to the center. We would like to kind of curl up here. Now, you do have 30-minute divergence here that says this 2 hour is about to get a move. Where's that move going to go to? I'd be looking at a weekly expected move if it's able to remain bullish. The 2-hour for Meta is shaping up to, hey, did we raise that floor? Are we going to go up to higher levels? Are we going to see a weekly expected move this week? Meta does not necessarily have the great reversal signals. They are very, very extended at this point, so it can go make them. It can fail the move as well. Microsoft really breaking through. Let's see. I think it violated 30-minute here with that big of a move. Come on, stuff. Load. It's probably because I'm playing something over here. Yeah, able to violate as of this moment for Microsoft. Is that one getting pretty extended? I'll tell you if Microsoft as of this week is overextended. It is not. It has more room if it really wants to go. We did leave a gap behind. We would like to see this go tap into that area to keep going higher. Google is able to turn up here. We did lose the low, so you are looking for a lower high from Google. If you are able to make a new high, you would be looking for that to pull back to go higher, in my opinion. But if you're able to not make that new high, you roll that. So July 9th was the day we're paying attention to, and guess what? It's July 9th, so we're going to pay attention to today. AMC trying to curl up here, still good to go. Hopefully that thing can rip to the upside, or if it rolls, I will have to be out one more time. Good old AMC. GME does not have good reversal signals, and GME is at risk of doing something like this. We have really broken down over time. We have shown that we can go aggressively to the downside. We have not shown necessarily past this low just yet. I would like to see us get past that low first, but hey, I don't always get what I like. It is very likely to get a lower high for GME. DJT going to the upside, trying to reject from the bottom side of the zone. So DJT is saying I am going to potentially pull back on the 2-hour. You can see this from some of the 30-minute signals that you are getting here. Now, you don't necessarily have divergence. You kind of have that just gradual move to the upside. So no real clarity here for DJT. SoFi is way, way up there, but it can still stay way up there because it doesn't necessarily have anything in the near price action, nothing in the near price action for your signals either for the MACD or RSI. Palantir able to curl up on the 2-hour. Now, Palantir is very likely to do what? Left head, right shoulder. So look for Palantir if that's going to break down. If you get lucky and see a 30-minute divergence, you have that right now. So do you see the 30-minute divergence for Palantir here? If that is able to confirm, we turn down a 2-hour chart. We might even take out this logo, make a new one, but the 2-hour is trying to go positive. So you have to take that with a grain of salt and say, hey, watch for if that ever turns back to the upside or if it just does something irrational early on. AVGO, now this one is one that is holding the signals as of this moment and not curled up on the 30-minute just yet. AVGO does have the potential for a 2-hour double top. That 2-hour double top has confirmed as of this moment and is trying to violate that today. We'll see if that's able to take place. And JP Morgan is set up to see something like this, I would say more so on the 30-minute chart. We'll look for divergence and things like that. It's just the 30-minute is really, really deep. So we're looking for higher low. We're looking for failure into divergence or just a trickle down into divergence. We'll be paying attention. The interesting thing for me is still volatility was the thing we were utilizing, and volatility is completely breaking down. So this is why I don't necessarily see the bearishness that people are talking about. I don't see it. Now, I do know that some fund managers are not a part of these moves, and they're kind of late to the party. But normally, if big money in any kind of way, and fund managers do get things wrong, but sometimes big money, if they're if they're not a part of something and they want to get a part of something, you see a moment of volatility just so they can get into the move. So that's where you would pay attention to small pullbacks into this area for like a daily small pullback. There's a lot going on. Let's see. Let's watch this behavior on the 5-minute today at this daily expected move as we hit resistance right away. Very, very nice daily expected move. So the market's still doing market things. It might not be doing the exact thing that you would like, but it is still doing exactly what markets like to do. If it wants to raise the floor, this is how it does it. But today there is still risk that we can reject from 624.59, but it looks like volatility is suggesting that we just rose the floor at least into Friday, but I'm still going to pay attention to today very, very carefully. Okay, let me see what's playing over here, what's causing this to be kind of wonky. I didn't make coffee this morning, and it is killing me. Here, let me look at the, what is this? What about this guy? Let's reload here, see what we get. For today, yeah, right at 625. For Friday, 625. So 625 is a key level for Friday. If we can take that, we kind of can roll to, like, keep these things going to the upside. We can roll down for a moment and keep continuing. I would watch out for a 5-minute lower high, 5-minute divergence by 1 p.m. Central Time or end of day. Not big. No, we're talking like some fund managers, like a decent portion of fund managers. Oh, PCC is rising fast. Does someone know something you don't, or are people betting on a crash? If it's this big of a move this fast, usually you would say someone knows something you don't. Yeah, you wouldn't consider like, oh, this is all retail trying to short at the same time. You would have to be like, oh, all of retail is hand holding to all short on the same day. So maybe someone knows something you don't. Maybe someone knows there's an event today and we could just see heightened volatility. So this might be potentially like just hedging for today. We'll see. But we do see that bearishness over with the PCC now. Right, Jason? So that's where I can say there's some bearishness, like some for the day. Market's great. Swifter's just loving it. I love it for you, buddy. That's awesome, Swifter. Break 200 this year and be a great buying opportunity. I think that's a possibility. 200. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably have to agree with you on opportunity there. Yeah, you get like a weekly thing. I mean, that would, but like, doesn't that kind of that kind of contradicts upside? But if you're going to see downside, I guess this is the bearish scenario. If you get this into this, like before earnings, you just see this like drop down, and then you bounce back up. You could see something like 180.92. We don't need this guy. Yeah, I could see it. Like, I could see how that's plausible. It's just, is it probable right now with a 30-minute divergence that is still holding? Is it plausible right now with a 2-hour that's trying to confirm up? But our assessment for this week, we're going to keep that assessment. Watch out for July 9th. Watch out for a lower high on July 9th. That's what we're going to watch for. You have made it to the daily expected move. If you're going to see something crazy, you got to bust through there, show a new high, probably pull back to actually see a well-extended move. Now, that pullback doesn't have to be like a drawn-out thing. You can literally get like a wick. Pokey pokey. So that's the only really bearish thing I see as far as like the things I like to pay attention to. I mean, the dollar is still able to hold at higher levels, but is it going to just reverse down with this 2-hour divergence? Look at the dollar getting a 2-hour divergence right now. Remember, the dollar was heading down and the market's head up. Okay, so that's the correlation. But now we're seeing the dollar go up and the market still hasn't gone down. So now you're seeing that real irrational behavior. Let's go look at VIX 9-day in a moment too. Volatility still extended. No new low there. VIX made a new low. VIX 9-day testing the low, testing that gap fill. Crazy stuff. You have a lot of... So I would say this, anyone in the chat who says like, hey, I think we're going to pull back on the daily scale, I'd agree with you. I think that's a plausibility. I think that's very possible. And then if you also said, hey, today, based on the information you got today, based on what you're getting in the market today, and you said, hey, I think we're going to squeeze, I don't necessarily think I can contradict you because I think you have a mixed bag. Crocs chart, it's been trading. Crocs. I need to like see if I have an update or something. Well, Crocs looks pretty good. Like Crocs looks real nice. I mean, look at this too. Very good little wick for the retest. You see the wick? That's what I'm talking about for the SPY. Crocs doesn't show anything that's absolutely like terrible. It really doesn't. If anything, it's showing, hey, maybe we want to go make that right shoulder for a moment. But anytime the 2 hour is able to confirm up into positive territory, you see good things. It kind of reminds you of like down at this low where you scooped it up and then you curled up, right? Never confirm back down. Scoop it up, curl up, right? But right now it's turned down, so you're still pulling back. Let's see if 30-minute gives you a hint here. Not the best hints from the 30-minute. If that rolls by the center line, you would say, hey, maybe we are going to make that right shoulder. Is a wick above a high, but not a closed body above a high considered a new high? Yes. Yes. If you boop, 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 that is considered a new high. You have made a new high, right? MLG? Yeah, or MLGO, sorry, MLGO. I don't think I've looked at this one. What's micro algo? 2 hour scale, 2 hour not confirming down. Pretty good here. Pretty good. Not bad. Able to at least take back this point. Not bad. Left head, right shoulder. 2 hour divergence with the rejection. Need daily confirmation, but other than that, you're very close. I don't know if I'd trust this guy, but I'd be looking at those shorter time frames, seeing if the was it the 30-minute or 2 hour? What was it? Make sure that the 2 hours not crossing down. That's one. That's kind of like, hey, we're negative. There's risk there. If the 30-minute can fully, it is confirmed up. So you would say it's going to try to make the new high and go higher. And then management for the trade is, hey, if that rolls before we do so, try to keep it as simple as possible. I know that's a quick look. We'll look back at it in, if you come back like tomorrow, ask again. I think tomorrow we'll be able to look at that a little clearer. Google's starting to pump. Google pumping. Yeah, and you're not getting any weakness here. This is very, very strong. Maybe it does want to reach up to here. Maybe we extended that floor for just a little bit. We'll see. When is the rolls? A good old Rolls Royce. Ooh, see this? Probably here. All right, shorter time frame, kind of some weakness in there, but Not really. Not on your RSI. Look if the 30-minute curls back down. You would look for a test of the low, go make a new one, as that is curling down pretty close to the center line. God, I'm hiccuping like crazy. How come no more daily expected moves? You get daily expected moves in the video at night. I just like the clarity on the chart. And you get daily expected moves here. And if you ever need them, just shout it out real quick. I have no problem with doing that for you, Boost, okay? Okay, see how this right now. Where's Matthew? Yes, you have technically made a new high. So you would be looking for retest to go higher, especially if you're like a day trader. Day traders will be looking for this into this, right? This into new high. Do we set up a trap? Pretty wild market, not gonna lie. Now it's just wild. Now it's just crazy. I kind of wish I played this now. I feel pretty good. I could like God, this is the only one I didn't pick to play, and it was so good. Fed rate's at least 3 points too high. What's the monthly move for AMD? That's over on Patreon if you want to go check it out real quick. How do I find expected moves? We actually teach a way in the course how to calculate them very easily using, I use my fun account to show you, but you can use like Yahoo Finance. You can use different avenues. I may just add to the course and show you guys how to make your own and set up your own spreadsheet. Would you guys like that? You can utilize mine over with Patreon because I just use my spreadsheet. I just show it to you every single week. I calculate them myself because you can make mistakes calculating them. That's why I was thinking of teaching a video in the course where you can physically like just I'll set up your spreadsheet for you. What I like to show off on Patreon are highly, highly probable plays. So the last play that we showed off on Patreon was, I think, a week ago, wasn't it? I think it was Palantir. So we like to show high probable trades that are easy to execute on for people to learn for paper trading, for learning purposes, for time and market, but also if you're seasoned and you just want a good looking thing. This was one that we actually pointed out. And it was mainly for what? The new low. And then we suggested, hey, look for us to bounce to maybe reject again. So this trade's already done. Potential for 30-minute divergence on where not your MACD, but your RSI. And whenever I take a bearish play, I do like to, anytime I see anything that could resemble bullishness and I have money made in the play, I just get out. That's how I like to do things. I like to take profit a lot. If you stick around for a long time, you'll hear that. But I'm not necessarily wanting to be someone who's like, oh, trade with me, right? I'm not doing that, but I am showing you high probable trades that are easy to execute for people to like practice and learn. Or if you're someone who's seasoned, you can pay attention to it and see if it is a setup for you. So yes, we did show off Palantir. And then this was the overall assessment. We're going to make a new low. Once we do make a new low, you look for reversal signals for the 2 hour to bounce up, and then maybe we're able to break down again. So as of right now, we're in the second stage here, meaning that Palantir should be able to, with the big sellers, we'll see if that is able to break down. If that is able to break down and then it doesn't make a new low and curls back up, you got to be aware of that. This thing's going to try to go higher. Look at the Bitcoins. Bitcoin wasn't able to go well, actually, wait. It did go down to 106.12 at this point, but we wanted it to come down over here to 106.12 as well. That never necessarily happened. The daily is still confirmed up. The daily has broken through what you would say maybe just like some very big flagging at this point. So Bitcoin looks pretty good. And I think it was Coin. People were wanting to look at Coin yesterday. Coinbase. Now, Coinbase is shaping up like, hey, I want to see that 2 hour move higher, right? It keeps showing that type of signal. But I just think today's your risky day. Friday's your risky day. And then after that, if I can see something after that point, I'll try to take the extension into the end of July, or at least OPEX. Right? Maybe we just squeeze through into OPEX. But I'm still heavily paying attention to today. It's just we wiped out VIX signals. We didn't necessarily wipe out the VIX 9-day. We didn't wipe out VVIX. So we have wiped out the VIX. The SPY is at the daily expected move, meaning the risk for today is a little bit more, hey, we could just sit at this level all day. We could sit at this level or reject from this level and turn down for a pullback or complete rejection today. So this is your key level where it's like, hey, if I'm a day trader, this is where I make decisions. Right, Chris? Chris knows that game. It's crazy because what I'll do is I'll potentially... I want to get second opinions that I really, really trust. So what I'll actually do this week is I actually will watch a couple people on YouTube just to see how they're talking about markets, because I see still elevated risk here. I want to see if they have any information that changes that. I want to do my due diligence to help you guys out as much as possible. 60 minutes or so. Let's see it all go green. Is anything like super red? Nothing is really red here. Some smaller names. DJT. Yeah, that is a higher high, and then you make lower high, possibly to turn down. We'll see. 2-hour pullback looks likely for DJT, which is kind of wild. So I'm still inclined to be patient. I'm still inclined to say, hey, I think we're reaching up to a top. Whether that top is now, whether that top is the end of July, I'm perfectly fine with being patient. Well, signs to look for when it's going up or down. One thing is first, metal fuser, right? Always pay attention to how a market can be irrational. You're seeing it in front of you. This is great practice and great time in market right now, if you haven't looked at markets a lot, to see how irrational markets can be and why calling tops is not necessarily the best thing. Now, I like to do that. I think it's fun, but I always suggest lower position sizes, right? Treat it like a hedge is what I like to say. So how do you know which way markets are going to move? A lot of it is time in market and saying simple things like, hey, do I have a reversal signal here? Have I made a lower high? Have I done these type of things? But what you can do to really figure out if the SPY is going to drop is look at volatility and then say, hey, do I see something at the same time on the SPY? We didn't necessarily see it at the same time on the SPY, so maybe we should have just stuck with everything that I've said in the past, which is I don't really pay attention to SPX 500. I need to see it on the SPY. And now that's kind of showing up here. So maybe I made a mistake by looking at the SPX 500 and comparing that to the VIX instead of just the SPY itself. Okay? But normally what you would see is you'd see triple. So here's how you do it. I'll show you. 2-hour divergence right here for VIX. Volatility comes in. 2-hour divergence right here for VIX, volatility comes in. 2-hour divergence here for VIX, volatility comes in, but it's not coming in as aggressively as you would assume as the past. So, take into consideration, markets can be irrational. All right? It's a very, very good thing to understand. Now, what I look for are times where this is the same at the same time. Notice that May 16th is when we confirmed the signal for VIX. And at the same time, you don't necessarily have the best divergence in the world, so you really want to act like, hey, what? This can continue, right? That's why we were saying watch for this to still even continue. And the good part here is if you have skills on multiple time frames, you can go in and say, I know, and I've back tested a lot, the 30-minute shows good things, right? If I pay attention to the 30-minute, I can maybe see a hint of the next reaction for the 2-hour. So around this time over here, everyone was saying down, 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 and I was saying we have divergence. I believe it was on the Qs. Am I incorrect? I thought it was the Qs. I think it was right here, though. Flatness for the MACD, flatness for the RSI. Let me blow that up and actually see if it's there. No cheating. Yeah, there it is, right here. So right here, we saw that divergence going into, say, May 23rd. So that means to me, we had a signal that said, hey, this is going to drop down. You see all the divergence. We actually get that volatility increase. Everyone thinks it's going to go lower. And we said, watch out, you have a 30-minute divergence on your RSI. And then it bounces up and it takes back the 5. So that is how you tell, like, hey, is this going to continue? Well, if we take back the 5 with divergence, it's very likely that we're just going to raise the floor. So as of right now, we haven't necessarily seen any kind of divergence, any kind of higher low or anything like that. So I'm still paying attention to, hey, do we dip down lower, create those type of signals, and then we see that start to head to the upside? Because as of right now, going into VIXpiration, the VIX is extremely low as of now. VIXpiration is a week from like today. So that would mean to us, maybe we want to rebalance those contracts. Maybe market makers, dealers, they want to rebalance those contracts. So you can see a moment of volatility, and then that's where you really look for the reversal signals to see if you're going to keep doing irrational things. I'm not saying that people in the chat shouting out 700, 650, 630 are incorrect. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying this is not necessarily something that I would put all my eggs in this basket as of right now. Near future, like if you're talking like near future is 30-minute charts. Like if you're talking a few days, 30-minute charts, right? A good example of this is it can happen really fast. It can happen really slow, right? Like this did not fully carve out that 2 hour until we failed one and then made new ones. And then we went, but we made new ones. It's a very reactionary game. This was much slower than over here. The double bottom 30-minute divergence. Much slower. This was even slower than, say, this moment right here with the 30-minute divergence only on the RSI, kind of really flat on the MACD, if not a little bit down. So this one took a little bit more time than over here. This one took way more time than probably both, right? But now you don't have that at all. So I have a hard time believing that this market's just going to be all fine and dandy for all of July when it looks like this. Because that means that all you're going to do, if you're never going to see a more meaningful 2-hour pullback like this down here in the bottom left, if you're not going to see something like this, then that means you're just going to do what? Like what? Blow off top? You just like kind of go vertical. I'm not someone who celebrates things like that personally. But hey, he said golden age. Maybe I'm just totally incorrect. Did that clear it up, Metal Fuser? I want to make sure you're not being sarcastic. I want to make sure. You can really utilize 30-minute charts to see the next 2-hour reaction. It won't work every time. You got to be looking for higher lows. You got to be looking for divergence. And then also, the third thing is pay attention to how it can go wrong. It's not going wrong. All bullish trades are pretty much going right. Every time you've seen a 30-minute divergence, you have gotten a 2-hour move to the upside. Ends in a blow off top. Oh, okay. So cycle blow off top. I wonder if that would still be the 2026 top. But the other part to that is 2-hour, right? When things are irrational. So when things are really positive gamma, when things are really seeing that bull market, you got to take little divergences with like a grain of salt on the 30-minute, and you're more paying attention to like 2-hour things. This is why the 2-hour not having necessarily the best divergence here is a big deal. You can go do that. We can go through volatility even longer here, then go do it, then set up the sell signal if we really want to. Right? But we saw it on the SPX 500 on a 4-hour chart. That's getting a little deeper into it for the conversation, but okay, good. It actually shows me the big picture. Yeah, I don't like to just tell people, oh, 30-minute divergence works. No, I want you to know that it can behave like 30-minute divergence works most of the time, especially with bullish trades, like in a bull market. And you're pretty much in one now. You can't really say you're not, right? You've made new all-time highs. You're just going. Even a big daily pullback that they convince you is a crash is probably not a crash at this point. The probability of you crashing from here is pretty low. But you can see something ugly that looks crash-like, and then you're just probably going to see a 2-hour higher low or a 2-hour divergence. And then it's just going to go to the upside. Because of all the things that those guys in chat that are saying bullish things about, they are right. I just disagree of how we get there. And that's perfectly fine. We're all different. And I can be wrong, they can be wrong, and it's perfectly fine. I'm not going to like hate on people for being wrong. It's perfectly fine to be wrong in markets. But as long as we're all on the same page of like, this is probably going to continue into the end of the year, whether we get a pullback here or not. I don't think 164 is on the table for this week. Oh, nope, I was wrong. Yeah, see, I was wrong. Look at that. One of those moments. I was wrong. 164 is on the table. Oh, I'm being silly. I forgot that this thing boomed today. 164 already got tagged. You actually have higher levels than 164 that are possible, but heavily paying attention to now, right? Heavily paying attention to now if this reverses down. This is bullish. I'm not trying to convince you it's bearish. This is bullish. But I'm telling you the what if it turns down. You have to be paying attention to if this stops. If this is some FOMO, euphoric, yes, we are blow off topping. And then dealers go, hey, Vixpiration, right? That's all I'm talking about. But yeah, actually, you technically could see something like 166 if you really want to talk about it. And you don't have the 30-minute signal that would rotate down, right? We talked about this metal. Do you see a 30-minute divergence here for NVIDIA? You see it on your MACD. Now, this is an interesting topic. If I see a euphoric move like this, and I see a 30-minute divergence on the MACD and not the RSI, how do I like to treat things if they're not at the same time? I take it with a grain of salt. I only have 2 reasons behind the trade. If this would confirm down below the 9, I would only have 2 reasons. I wouldn't have the divergence for the RSI. So that would tell me a lot. And what I like to say is I use reasons. I go this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason. This reason says, I'd maybe bet $100. This reason says, I'd maybe bet 500. This reason's like, okay, maybe 1,000. Okay, this reason says, okay, maybe 2,000. 2,000. This one says, okay, 3,000. I have 5 reasons. Right? I kind of use my reasons to tell me how much risk I should assume. And in every single one of these scenarios, whether it's $100 or whether it's $3,000, if that starts to go wrong, I manage risk. That means I manage the trade. I get rid of the trade, if you want to put it that way. Let me just see if I can delete all that off. Yeah, it's something that I did for myself a long time ago. And I was like, how do I know how much money to really risk every time? I know that I'm using smaller amounts. I'm not going to use, 20% of my portfolio or my bankroll to do one trade. But I can have a method of saying, okay, how much confidence do I have behind this? And that confidence is shown by my reasons, and the money that I risk follows those reasons. I will tell you as of right now, not a lot risked. I am thinking about just taking like a month out volatility call at these levels. That is something that I'm planning on thinking about risk to reward. The only problem with that is I don't have reversal signals right now on a shorter time frame for volatility. Very good questions though today, guys. Very good. I like it. And it is a time for those questions. It is a very perplexing market, right? Are we going to be right and just get a lower high here? We tapped into those sellers. Are we going to be right? Because volatility suggests that we could be raising the floor into Friday or even Vixpiration or even end of month. So the people shouting out bullish things, I can't hate on you. The people shouting out bearish things, I think you have reasons for that too. I'm leaning towards the bearish things right now, leading into way more bullishness later. Let's see. I take out green to cover leftovers, so it expires at 0. I lose 0. Look at Netflix with the first. Hold on one second. But since arriving at this channel, a lot of good behaviors have been reinforced and subsequently rewarded. Thank you all for that. Asking questions I didn't even know I wanted to hear the answers to time and time again and whatnot. Exactly. The point of a community is to learn from each other and to support each other and to contradict each other, to argue in a very calm and professional way, right? There are times where maybe we don't do that. Maybe we aren't the most calm and professional, right? About contradicting each other. But we all are looking out for each other's best interests at the end of the day. Intention is a huge part of being a human being, in my opinion. But it is nice, isn't it? Because other people bring up questions that can help other people. So if you have a question, I always say no question is a stupid one. Yeah, so metal fuser, I usually like 3 reasons. Right now for volatility, you technically would say you don't even have one to take a VIX call yet. This is more a different style that I do, which is just risk to reward in times. So if you, and I think I've talked about this before. So if volatility extremely breaks down, people are really saying nothing bad is going to happen. And so if you think of The Big Short, the movie The Big Short, there were those two young guys. How did they make so much money? All they did was when they noticed the market was um, say not pricing something incorrectly or just totally ignoring that bad things can happen, they would take their opportunity because things are priced so cheaply. So I'm thinking about doing that right now. I think the market is not necessarily paying attention to, hey, we're not making a new high today, even though volatility is making a new low, which means people are overall going calls, calls, calls month out, but we haven't really seen the new high for the SPY. Are they going to be right? And I would say VIX calls are probably pretty damn cheap, is what I'm saying. So I'm kind of thinking in that way. That is another thing that I like to do. Now, that's more of a time and market kind of play. So you need time and market to really understand those moments. But I would say that this is one of those moments. Indeed, they are cheap right now. Hell yeah. Just like me and Rich. Yeah, heel toe and Richard. That's right. What up, Nana? How you doing, buddy? Personal testing, books, and videos. Yes, you are completely right, Zachary. Yes. So, one thing I like to shout out if you like books, we talked about it yesterday. The Psychology of Money is great. It costs you $11 right now on Amazon. You can get it free on like the Amazon Kindle, whatever thing. You can literally get it for free right now. I always go against the market. I'm sorry about that, Jonna. I do apologize for that. I'm not trying to fear you into making decisions, right? I'm trying to say the information. I'm really trying to say things of how I see markets. And I do see credible, scary things here, right? I do see that. You did not hear me talking about this. You did not hear me talking like this at all. Where? I was not talking about this at all here, right? Remember this divergence? I was not, remember, go back to the videos and look here. The game has changed, was overall what we were saying. And then we gapped up and we were right, right? It's a matter of points to pay attention. Here, we were right here. We were right here with the 2 hour high or low. We were right to say the 2 hour divergence. Yes, it is there. You can pay attention to it. But if you just whip up, you're going to squeeze. We squeeze. And then down here we go, okay, this is where you can see a little tumble. We tumble, but we make a 30-minute divergence. We're flipping back and forth. So I apologize if that is happening. It is not my intention to do so. We need to, me and Jonna need to get together and just chat. We need to hop on a call and see if we can really help you out, Jonna, in focusing on this stuff. Because a lot of it can be fixed with a lot of patience. And that's the fact of the matter. Like, it really is. Like, at this moment, patience to me is your best friend. So it's an individual basis. I wish I had time to do individual stuff, but with new baby coming and all the stuff we're having with family right now, it's just not on the table. Let's see here. Do Yeah, John, I think time and market will fix a lot of things because I told you I'm choosing not to play this, but I still said this is a reversal signal, right? This is how we remain irrational, right? So time and market will give you confidence in your skills and not just like, I'm not saying you're dependent on a YouTube channel. I'm saying you might have a little bit too much and maybe you just need that time and market. And I know I've told you that for a while. Time and market is not a month. Time and market is not 2 months. If we really want to discuss time and market as a trader, you're going to have to go through like years. But I totally understand. So trust me, it is never my intention to do so. Never my intention to fear you into something. The reason I am discussing a daily pullback, even though we did something irrational in here, right? And we saw the signal that told us something irrational can take place. The reason I'm talking about it now, and the reason we talked about it even here, and then we said, oh, it's going to do something irrational. Okay, now it's doing something irrational. And so, and is it technically irrational to us, right? Is this irrational? Is a 30-minute divergence leading towards a 2-hour squeeze irrational? No, it's everything we do. Technically, no. But now I'm just telling you from a risk to reward standpoint, it goes, ooh, there is some kind of retracement possible. Yeah, and see, you're not alone too. Rajiv saying, hey, you're not alone, right? Trying to figure things out. These moments are like the hardest to try to short. A lot of the time, these moments can be some of the most confusing because it's just like, why are we so bullish for what seems to me to be no reason now? But you still have those, the reason you're still bullish is because of everything is still there. Nothing has really come down the pipeline to scare anyone out. Jonna, if you would like, send me, if you have I would love to do this for you, Jonna. You've been a great person in this channel for a long time now, for a decent amount of time. We'll say a decent amount of time. And you're always kind. You're always a positive attitude. And I know sometimes you say, hey, I'm a little confused. I would love to talk with you one-on-one. I really would. I would love to help you out. I would love to at least give my best shot in helping you understand how these things move. And at the end of the day, some things can't click, right? I can't understand biology very well. That is not a thing that I can understand well. And we'll figure out if you can understand markets pretty quickly if we talk one-on-one. Okay? But this is going to be a very long game. It's especially if you don't have the time looking at these. If you're new to these things, then it's almost like resetting the time, right? If you're new to things that we're talking about. But yeah, if you have a Discord or something like that, send me an email with it, Jonna. I can't do this for everyone. I wish I could. Jonna's been here for a while. I really want to help someone out. And Jonna, you've been such a good person in my chat for so long. I would love to at least sit down and see if we can tackle that. At least get you to a point where we can understand, and maybe we just extend out those time frames. I had a one-on-one with someone a few weeks ago about the memers, right? We discussed those, and I actually said things that changed his mind on some things. He ended up being wrong. And that's okay. But the things that I suggested saved him from potentially losing tens of thousands of dollars or something like that, I think. So I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your money. I'm trying to get you to understand good and bad decisions based on time and market here. It was not a bad decision to try to take this play. It might be a bad decision to hop into a call right now. Right? You need to see a little bit more, in my opinion. I think you need a 2-hour actual pullback first, but that's my opinion, right? Markets can do whatever the markets want to do in between there. So, Jonna, if you can make a Discord or something real quick, send me an email. I can try to find a time maybe this weekend we can link up for an hour and just go through some very, very simple things. I just want to hear how you talk about markets personally. Nothing about me. I want to hear how you see markets personally. What do you think about the market right now? Because that'll tell me a lot about how you understand things, okay? Be his Gandalf. Laying the VIX, volatility coming in. Well, the thing about volatility is, do we need a 30-minute reversal signal? I think I might risk to reward volatility here though. I know everyone probably wants a one-to-one, but I don't have time for it. I really don't. If I did, I would. Trust me. Uh, at least right now. Maybe before baby gets here, maybe we can do some one-on-ones because we discussed that in the past. We've discussed that a lot, actually. I've only had like two. Uh, I've only had like two of those. But the last one that I did have was, where is it? I think it was here, Friday. And the person was suggesting that this was going to happen. And they were saying, I'm going to use my whole money and either be really poor or really rich. That was the assessment. And I'm being honest with you about what was said there. And all I said was, just in case you're wrong, don't do a one day. You want to do a one day to make money really, really fast. If AMC goes to $10, you'll make plenty of money, even if you have a 2 week to a month out option. Okay. And look, they ended up being slightly, I would say, wrong, right? If they were wrong and they bet all that money on one day, it's gone. Like it's definitely gone. So at least the 2 weeks gives you the availability to manage a trade. So it's kind of like have confidence, but don't be oblivious. It's kind of like trust, but don't be ignorant. It's kind of like if you were building a relationship with someone and you trust them, don't think that they cannot do something bad to you. They can. And if you see the signs that they are doing something bad to you, you need to get out of the situation, correct? A lot of things in markets can just be explained in things in reality. So if someone was, I was trusting a girl and they were going out and staying the night over at someone's house and their phone randomly turned off every night at 2 a.m. or at midnight, and I never knew what they were doing and they were getting drunk all the time. Aren't those some signs that something could be going on, or it's just something that I can't trust, right? It's the same type of scenario. You trust your signals, but you're not ignorant. Oh no, not Navin. Did I hit a chord? So AMC, very interesting, but SPY, as of right now, projecting off. The 5-minute is extremely positive. This could just be retesting, right? We have not lost the 5. We have not made new low. We'll find out. Is that a personal anecdote? Yeah, way too many. High school Lucas got taught that pretty quick. little 17, 18-year-old Lucas got taught that pretty quick. If you, I'll tell you a funny story. If you, okay, well, we're looking at markets, but if you guys ever want a story, I got it. No, I appreciate you being here, Matthew. That's why if I hope you're sending me an email, Jonna. I'm gonna go check. Oh yeah, Justin. Let's see. Started tracking since the beginning of the year, but if you do, it was July 9:36 today. You're like, signals never reversed. We'll see what happens. Really? Justin, or if you're in the chat, are you saying it never rejected pretty much? Oh, really? So they just haven't, nothing's gone different, nothing's changed since your assessment that you showed me? I'm kind of in that belief, man. That's why I'm risk to rewarding volatility. I'm gonna do like August expiration. I should probably just tackle it now. Let's see if UVXY is doing pretty cheap stuff. Because I can hold on to that for a little bit. I don't mind it. I'm just looking for a spike of volatility at any time. Oh, my birthday? Should I select my birthday? Yeah, I'll select 20. Let's see if I want to risk to reward that bad boy. I like to look end of day. I want to look for that 1 o'clock and end of day. But yeah. Nothing has changed. Okay, Justin, that's a good note to take into consideration. I like it. Where is the... oh, golly. Okay. Look at that price. I just don't know if I should, considering I just won't be able to be at my computer like at all over the next like 3 sessions. I will have a live video tomorrow, and Friday I will not be able to be here. Just so you guys are aware, Friday I will not be able to be here. Tesla's trying to do the higher low here, right? Not a good confirmation at the moment. So it's trying. Your 5 minutes trying to give you the signals. Look at that 5-minute divergence. Do you see it? So it's pretty much saying, hey, I'm a potential setup. The 30-minute can swing up to about 305. If you get lucky and this thing pops off, you can go as high as, I think, 316, maybe even higher, because you're at the lower weekly expected move and you have time. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm sorry about that, Chris, but they come into, like, everyone will be here by Friday, and we have grill outs, and I wonder if they're, I wonder if they think I don't understand any Spanish, so I can hear if they talk shit on me. Yeah. So this would be not confirmed yet on the 5. 30-minute is trying to make the higher low. The confirmation you're getting down on the MACD is not necessarily negative yet. I just, me, myself, this is why it's like we're so different, because me, I'm still just going to overall be patient, maybe take a little volatility for a month or so. You got charts. Yeah, you're good, Chris. I'll still give you guys daily expected moves for Friday and things like that. Patreon members, look for Friday daily expected moves on Patreon. Yeah, we're still doing the same thing. It's just I can't be live on Friday morning. We have a brunch and things to go to. Maybe we'll hit a splash pad again later in the day. You guys want me to come back and tell you about the food? Okay, I will say this. I'm sorry to me as a white dude. The food, whenever we're with my wife's family, the food. I'm so excited. So excited. No, they ain't bringing mac salad. We're gonna have like it's probably gonna be a lot of like plantains and stuff like that. It's like plantains and corn, rice, a lot of meat. Oh, that's a lot of meat. I didn't know you were white. I'm white. Yes. The only kind of Asian I am is Caucasian. Yeah. I call like at family events, I'm like, yeah, just call me gringo. I don't care. I've been called it all the time in soccer. Yeah. All right. So as today goes, it looks like we're trying to raise that floor. Volatility is starting to come in. This could be hedging, right? We don't necessarily have the reversal signals right now on the 30-minute from volatility. So right now, what would you be looking for from volatility to see if it is going to come back in? SPY and JP Morgan. Yeah, we can do it in a second. Hold on. So what we're looking for here is, do we get high or low? Do we get divergence to whip this thing back around? But as it stands, the 2-hour could be saying, ooh, did we actually, and the other thing is, this technically wasn't 2-hour divergence. Do we have that divergence point now? That's going to be an interesting point for conversation. It's very interesting looking because you see how it would break down, but you see how if this turned up and just went, you could still see it coming in. So if you want to do a little assessment for the SPY has not changed. My assessment for the SPY has not changed. I think today is a risky day. I think that this could be a lower high right now. That being said, everything here is still bullish. The 30-minute is turned up in positive territory. The RSI is still above the center line. The price action is above the 5 and the 9. So we're looking for some serious rejection here, which is a confirming bar below the 9 and the 5 because they're so close together. Okay, as far as JP Morgan goes, this was a great trade. The 2-hour was able to curl down. The daily is curled down with it at this point. So everything here looks like good confirmation of downside if you can get a negative bar here. But the 2 hours told you the hint, and now I think you're very likely to get some kind of reaction up to reject from this area, right? When you make a right shoulder, it never has to be exact. It can literally just tap into this area and roll. But if you see a 2-hour able to confirm in positive territory, if you see this go green, you see green bars right here, you have to say that is the momentum pointing up. Until that turns back down, I cannot necessarily be bearish on JP Morgan. As far as the 30-minute stands, you are extremely negative. So this means if you're looking for the next couple of days and you want to see JP Morgan try to take back this high, as I do the thing where I click my mousy mouse, then you would really like to see that divergence. But you have also, I believe, where is that the weekly expected move, right? Yeah, you technically rejected below the weekly expected move here. So what you'd really like to see if the 2-hour is going to cross up with a higher probability, right? Higher probable chance. You would like to see the 30-minute be able to make higher low. You would like to see the 30-minute be able to make a divergence. And then you would say this is very likely for the 2-hour to go to the upside and see that 2-hour move that could potentially even test this high and go make a new one because it's still close and kind of positive there. So that's overall how I see JP Morgan. But the overall trade that we pointed out has played out. You've gone below a weekly expected move. So if you have a shorter term option, even if you have a longer term, I mean, this was great money. And then if you see that reaction, it can be reload. It can be, oh, fully out of the play if I see something that's blatantly a reversal signal that contradicts my trade. All right, guys, I do have to hop off right now. So for the SPY, we're looking for that rejection. I'm just thinking about risk to rewarding some volatility here. I think that we could roll pretty much from now. Like today's the main day I'm paying attention to. I will be paying attention to Friday. And if we're able to show good things, I will point them out. As of right now, we're trying to break down volatility, suggesting we may have risen the floor to at least Friday, but I'm still heavily paying attention to today. I thank you guys for being here today. I am genuinely always doing my best to help you. Never think I'm trying to scare you out of something or into something. I am just trying to show you how I analyze markets to really show you potential opportunities out there to practice, to get better at making those good and bad decisions. Less bad ones, hopefully, right? More good ones. And hopefully that is able to come across with enough time. Thank you guys for being here today. Jonna, send me an email if you can. And I hope you guys have a great one. Say hi to your family for me. I hope you're all doing good, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Manage risk, trade like water, and I think you'll be just fine. Peace out, guys. More Arrested Development jokes. Sorry, I had to read that out real quick. Finish this real quick, and done. Okay. See you guys. Have a great day. Peace out.